Hey guys, Scott here. Now today is one of those videos that will really make you angry and frustrated, and honestly it should, because this is the government once again failing at the most basic task that they have, and that is delivering homes for Aussies that actually need a place to live. I wasn't even going to make a video on this at first, okay, but I saw one article, I saw another thing in the media, I'm getting asked by people here on the YouTube channel, I've got members and clients and just people in the public asking me all the time, what's actually going on? And I'm seeing it all over the newspaper. I read article after article after article, then I watch another video and then another. When I stacked all of it together, yes, it is totally shocking and you guys deserve to hear the truth. So I'm gonna share that clear picture with you today. Now, this is just not one failure, not just one delay, but this is a pattern of the government telling Aussies that help is on the way while the actual housing supply keeps falling apart behind the scenes. So I pulled all of this together today and I decided that I had to come on here and show you what's really going on behind the scenes as a property insider. And by the end of this video, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. Does the government actually have a plan, or are they just hoping Aussies don't catch on? Stick with me, because once you see the examples back to back, you can't unsee them. And real quick one, if you want an honest breakdown of what's actually happening in property and the economy, make sure you subscribe. I do these daily updates every single day. Hit subscribe so you never miss an update. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with Sydney, because this one should scare you. The New South Wales government, through its own development arm, Landcom, had plans to place up to 1,500 new homes across Western Sydney. These were not hypothetical ideas. These were real projects in areas like Tallawong, Rooter Hill, and Austral, for example, areas that desperately need affordable housing. And then quietly, without a press conference, without a headline, those projects disappeared. Landcom ditched them. They removed the projects from their websites and replaced them with a simple line saying development was no longer proceeding because it was not commercially feasible. Think about that for a second. The government's own developer is admitting that even with government backing, it cannot make housing work in the areas where housing is needed the most and where it's going to be the most affordable. High construction costs, labor shortages, planning delays, taxes, levies, and thin margins have made it so difficult that developers are walking away. And this is the part that should worry you. If the government cannot make housing stack up in Western Sydney, where exactly do you expect private developers to do it? Now, these were early stage projects, yes, but they were counted as future supply. Now they are gone. That is hundreds of families who were meant to live there pushed back into the already broken rental market. And instead of owning that failure, the response is silence. Now let's talk about Appin here in New South Wales, because this one perfectly exposes how housing promises are being inflated on paper. For years, Appin has been talked about as a major growth area capable of delivering up to about 13,000 new homes. That number has been referenced in planning documents, strategy papers, and broader housing supply narratives. But here's the reality. Right now, only 2,500 homes are actually allowed to proceed. The New South Wales government has imposed a hard dwelling cap because the infrastructure simply isn't there. There is not enough sewage capacity, road access, transport, or services to support large-scale development. So while the land is rezoned and the headlines talk about tens of thousands of future homes, nearly tens of thousands of them are effectively blocked by policy until infrastructure is funded and delivered. Now, as a property insider and working very closely with Liana Pan, a data scientist and one of Australia's top property researchers, we're seeing this happen all the time. So yes, you're seeing it in the headlines, you're seeing it on the news. We're seeing it every single day when we do that suburb level research. Now, these homes haven't been cancelled with a dramatic announcement. They've been quietly frozen. They exist in planning documents, not in construction pipelines, and this is why this matters. Governments keep pointing to places like Appin when talking about future housing supply, but those homes are not coming anytime soon. They don't help renters today, they don't help buyers today, they don't relieve the pressure on house prices. This is what missing housing looks like in real life and the real impact on the property market. So those are some examples at a regional level. Now let's zoom out nationally, because this problem is not just happening in Sydney. A recent report found that more than 82,000 homes across Australia cannot be built because of missing basic infrastructure. We're not talking about fancy upgrades here. We're talking about sewage pipes, water connections, stormwater drains, and roads. Councils and developers are ready to go. The land is zoned. Demand is there. But without enabling infrastructure, construction simply cannot begin. In southwest Sydney alone, more than 23,000 homes are stuck because sewage and transport capacity has not been delivered. Now, across growth areas nationally, this bottleneck is now one of the biggest barriers to housing supply, and this exposes the core failure. Governments announce housing targets without sequencing the infrastructure properly. They promise homes first and worry about pipes, roads, and services later. When the infrastructure does not show up, housing gets capped, delayed, or even cancelled. So when people ask why rents keep rising and prices are not cooling down, this is why. The supply everyone keeps talking about is not actually reaching the ground. Now, when you step back and look at these three examples together, a pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Homes are being promised without viable delivery pathways. Developers are walking away because projects do not stack up. Infrastructure is lagging years behind rezoning announcements. And when things fall apart, the response is more spin and more silence. It generally feels like the government wanted to distract Aussies with big numbers, long timelines, hoping people wouldn't connect the dots until it was too late.
Mr. Speaker, this is a future fund that will give more Australians a future.
But here is the reality. If thousands of homes keep getting cancelled like this, the rental crisis will never cool. It will never improve. Prices will not cool down and allow people to get onto the property ladder. Families will get squeezed harder and home ownership will drift further and further out of the reach of everyday Aussies. Housing is not a luxury. It is a basic human need. And right now, it feels like the people trusted to fix this crisis do not have a real plan to do it. So I want to hear from you. I generally read all of the comments here. Do you think the government actually has a strategy to fix the housing crisis? Or does it feel like they're just buying time with headlines and promises while the system keeps breaking underneath? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. And if you want to stay a property insider and actually understand what's happening beyond the spin, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss one of my daily updates. This is your daily property update, helping you stay informed so you can make smarter decisions in a broken system. I'll see you guys at the next video.